Hi YouTube, I hope you're all doing well. I am doing okay. I went out this morning, trekked through about, 3 feet of snow in some spots and swept off my satellite dish. So here I am. I'm hoping to get this uploaded. If I get cut off, I'm not sure I'll be back today, but I love you. And like I say, I hope you're all doing great. And um, yeah, we have been getting pummeled with snow. I think, well, the last 3 days, I could say at least a good 2 feet, along with the total feet of snow that we've already gotten. I don't know, I haven't calculated it or kept track of it. Some years I do. This year it wasn't something that I was really worried about or anything. I don't have to do a lot of traveling in it or anything like that. So it was really freaky this morning. I was having a cup of coffee and invited Doug in. He was saying something to um, talk about different things going on in the world. And we were talking about head injuries. And just as we're talking about head injuries, Robin's Hood puts out a video about um, I brain. Oh, I don't know. It's something about his brain, like but it was just kind of weird because Doug and I are talking about that, and just as we're talking about that, he's thinking about that, and puts out a video on that same theme. And Robin, when you watch this, Doug said that he needs to say hello to you and pay you more attention. I said, yeah, you really should, because there's not a lot of men in Robin's life that he can really consider his friend. And I have that a lot in my life with women. It's hard for people to make true friend connections out here. So, yeah, anytime somebody can extend a little bit of love towards somebody else, that's a good thing. So, um, hopefully he'll do that on a video if I share it. I try to share people's videos and, spread whatever they're saying around if it's a good message for people to, or if it's a good channel in general and a person with a message. Hopefully we're sharing those and the information that they're providing. And right now I'm watching Archaics, the Adjustment Bureau Men in Black from the Underworld is the name of that one. And he's talking about um, implants that people had in them and how Dr. Lear had taken some of these implants, but they would like explode when they got to the air, and he wasn't able to work with them unless he kept them in liquid. Well, the odd thing is when I got this one out of my ear, from behind my ear, and it freaked me out. And he was talking about how the technology with it, it was like in a membrane, um, but there was something in there, and this membrane, well, whatever it was, like it was alive. When he tried to use the scalpel to extract it, it would move. I found that too. It took me a long time to get this thing out of there, and when I did, and it didn't explode, and nothing did happen to it when I took it out. It was hard. I could not smash it with metal. Like, I think I had used like a crescent wrench or something, tried to smash it, or a hammer, something. It would not smash. I could not destroy it. And I threw it into my neighbor's yard, which I do at times regret, but I was so freaked out from that at that time that that's all I could think to do. I was probably about, let me see, well, maybe about 30, somewhere around in that area, because my kids were still little. So let me see, um, 6 and 3. Um, Let me see. Just 1 second. 29 and so about 31. Um, so I might not have been the brightest bulb in the set of lamps at that point, but if I had been wiser. But then I thought it was a tracking device, and I could have been very well right, because after that, it was a long time till I had things going wrong for me again. Like the dark cabal has a way of putting obstacles in a person's way. So, um, but I always felt like God had me walk into this contraption, and he was asking me to trust him, and he either took something out or put something in my head. And I think he took my memories out, so I wouldn't remember who I was here. I think, like, oh, what is it? A lot of people say, like, we're a world with amnesia. I think in that respect, I think the Dark Cabal has a lot to do with that, as far as keeping people less aware from who they are. So we can't help each other's escape out of this level of existence, that they want to keep us here as slaves, because I truly believe they can't or don't want to ascend. Maybe they can with the Christ spirit, but they're not accepting of that, because like Doug was saying this morning, well, the first thing, they have to have religion. I said, well, it isn't so much a religion at it as it is like when you have your parents and the child, that would be like the child insisting that they put the parents here, when physically, at least, it is the other way around. But because people don't want to admit that they have a creator, that they want to be the creator. Well, if they're not, and they know they're not, then why keep on insisting that you're somebody who you're not? That's the point. They have to come to the realization that they were created by God, and he loves us, and he wants us to be okay, but we have to first accept it. Isn't even begging, pleading, or, I mean, yeah, having remorse for the stupid things we do, but most of all and above all is just to realize that we didn't make ourselves, and give that give credit where credit's due. God made us. Big deal. Who cares? Are we salty because our parents made us? Most people are grateful for their parents, unless you really didn't have any, or they really were something less to be than desirable, you know. But I mean, so to me, that's the bottom line of the whole thing, is stepping down from our ego and stepping down from our high horse and giving God his due respect. And then, yeah, it's like, I'm not going to help my kid if they think that they made me, that they fed me and took care of me or worked for me. It's like, no way, dude, go away. And that's exactly what a natural reaction from any parent would be. And that includes God. Oh, you made yourself? Okay, good luck with that one. You know? And that is where we stand with that. So it was an interesting conversation that we had. And I've been thinking a lot about head injuries and how that affects people and frequencies and how people could be healed with frequency and sound. It's like a good song or great music, the healing effect it has on us, and the spoken word, and even how about words that are spoken that are so demeaning or cruel that you just want to die. You feel like, or you even, have you ever had thoughts of suicide? I don't know if you have. I have. In fact, I actually tried it a couple times, and luckily I did not succeed. Did I have God in my heart? Yeah, but I wasn't trusting Him, you know? And I'm not making excuses, but it could have a lot to do with injuries that people do have, and the reason why we need Christ in our lives to help us overcome those sicknesses in that respect. So, because Christ is the great healer, and people can't do it by themselves, only God can heal us, you know. But first, we have to realize that we're sick before. I mean, if you have a sickness and your parent has the medicine and you're fighting them, you know, and for a while, yeah, well, your parent's going to do everything they possibly can to keep you healthy, you know, even fight you back, you know. It's like I used to have to put my oldest son practically in a headlock to brush his teeth, or I'd just stand there and say, well, I am not leaving here until you brush your teeth, and I'm going to watch you do it, you know. Not when he was really, really tiny, I could monkey with his teeth, like his new little teethies were coming in and everything. That was okay, but when he got to be about 5 or 6, and it could be that he might have even been allergic to the toothpaste, or it might have been too radical on him. And then I found this orange flavored toothpaste, and he liked that, so he did, or like a kid's toothpaste, and he did much better with that. But yeah, I used to have to fight my kid to keep him healthy, you know. And that's kind of the same. It was either that or watch his teeth rot out of his head when he's a little kid, you know. And he wasn't a really, neither one of my kids were really big on sugar. Mm, so so. So I didn't, I mean, we didn't have a lot of sodas around, or, I mean, I didn't in my home. And not a lot of juice. Some, but not a lot, you know. But yeah, I would literally wrestle him or stand beside him and hold him and like aim his toothbrush to his face and open his mouth. Okay, spit. I did that a couple times too, you know. So yeah. Is that tough love? Yeah, it was tough. It wasn't easy on me either, but what do you do? You know, to instill good habits in your children as far as personal hygiene, you know? So, not my youngest one, though. He was like me, brush his teeth twice and floss and all that. So, and he's still got pretty teeth. So does my older one. Even with their drug and alcohol use, they still look pretty healthy for all they've been through. You really wouldn't even be able to tell, actually, unless I told you, you know. So, I thought about calling my youngest son back. I see that he did try to call, but well, it depends on what he wants to talk about when he does call because there's just certain people in my life that I don't even want to hear about them. I don't want to hear their name. I don't want them knowing anything about me, and I don't want to know anything about them. And that should be respected on that. And that's the bottom line. So I'm not going to even talk to my own child if he's going to be talking about people that could want him dead and really don't care about him. And I'm not going to pretend that they do because that's dangerous for my kids. So I'm taking a stand and I'm saying, regardless of what you think, I know better, and I'm staying with what I know to be true from past experience, and people don't change. Oh no, people do not change. The Christ Spirit's on this planet in God's people, you know. And there's even some of them that are on the fence and not standing up for the things that are right on this planet. And those are the ones that we're trying to reach. So we're trying to wake up other lions, not the swine. We already know who the swine is, and God's already taken care of them. So, and I'm not going to sit here and debate. I mean, what God's going to do, that's totally up to him. But I do feel that there's people that do not want anything to do with God ever because they want that position and that power and they'll never have it. And you can't make somebody be something they're not. You know, it's like trying to turn a cat into a dog. No matter how you wish it, that cat's still a cat. You can't wish it into a dog. You can't pray it into a dog. It's still a cat. And that's my take on that. I believe that the people that have God in their hearts are the ones that did from the start, and they will in the end. And you know, it's a matter of maybe memories were taken out of us to put us here on the same playing field as everybody else, and just to see who we are inside, our integral components of what we are or not of God, that part of us, to prove that no, we aren't God. Because if we were, we could pull ourselves out of a situation where God will help you that you can't help yourself. You ever been in those situations? If not, expect to be in that situation because that's the aspect of what's going to happen in the future to those people that do not want to honor God. And it's not a forceful thing. It's a decision of either go out with the bath water or stay in the tub and get clean. You know, kind of that like that. Or if I'm taking out the trash, you either jump in the trash bin and I take you out and you get compacted and composted and whatever, like they do in Wisconsin, using people's bodies for fertilizer and food, and or you stay out of the trash bin and you say, wow, I didn't make myself. There really is a God, and I should respect that fact because I am breathing and eating all that He gave to me. And it's just like when your mom puts something on the table for you to eat and you say thank you, or at least you should say thank you, you would think it's the same difference, you know. Ooh, speaking of food, I did make my bread the other day, and I'm going to make grilled cheeses tonight out of it. And last night I had a bunch of avocados. I made guacamole and nachos and salsa, and that was my supper. So, and I thought about having a steak, but my bread's pretty good, and it's going to make a dynamic grilled cheese. So I might make some tomato soup with it. That might be good. I'll just have to see. Maybe I won't make anything. I don't know. I usually do, but you never know. I didn't do my exercises yesterday. My arm really hurt, and I'm debating on it today because I did that walk out in my backyard. Well, first I went out through the snow to feed my kitties, and then I went back out in the same tracks and swept off my satellite dish. Well, some of the same tracks. I had to go that length again from the kitty house to get out into the middle of my yard to the dish. And that was some exercise. So I got some exercise in today as far as strenuous and physical, you know. That was a trip. So yeah. We're kind of stuck here right now. Um, Maybe not entirely, but if something happened, it could be a dangerous situation. So, yeah, I don't know. But, yeah. So, what's your weather like? Cold and snowy, or are you in the sunshine? Or a lot of people will complain about the sunshine or the heat, and I don't know. I'm not really one like that. Excuse me. I love warm weather, but not too hot. I was thinking too, I had been invited down to Las Vegas when I was a youngster, and I didn't want to go down there and work because it probably would have been dangerous for me in a lot of ways, but it would have been good money, that's for sure. But I don't like the heat, and I didn't want to be in the desert. And then eventually I did end up living in Phoenix and around in Arizona for a while. And it snowed in part of it, like in Payson where I was. First, I was in the valley of the shadow of death. Oh, yeah. If there's any place I would describe as hell, two places: Salt Lake City, Utah, and Phoenix, Arizona. Uh, and let's see, what is it? Los Sierras in California, Death Valley. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty rugged. And so those three places I've been and I would describe as hell. Yeah, I could never live there. Well, I mean, I would if I had to, but I'm glad I didn't have to. I'm just glad our vehicle didn't break down when we were in those places, you know. Or the one, we didn't have a vehicle. We were hitchhiking through Utah, my ex and I. No kids. Long time ago. And it was hot. A guy gave us a ride, an old hippie, and I had a big, big bag of smoke about that big around. of Colombian gold, and it was so buttery tasting. It was just excellent. And him and his wife hadn't had anything to smoke for a long time, so we went back to their house for a while and smoked them up, and he ended up trading me a pipe made out of a deer antler and a poker to clean it, made out of a deer antler. And that was pretty cool. I didn't really want them, but he needed some smoke, so I traded him some for it. And then he gave us a ride to where we really needed to go was to get out of that state. And we were heading south anyway to Missouri at that time. Um, well, through Kansas into Missouri, there's Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri are right across the Missouri River from each other. And we walked across from Kansas into Missouri across that bridge. That was pretty cool. I'm not really big on misery. It was miserable. It was really humid and hot, and um, not the dry heat, very humid, like I say. And yeah, and then it gets kind of I would call gunky weather. It's like the places that have in between weather in the spring and in the fall where it doesn't really snow. It just has like mush for 3 months or 6 months out of the year. 3 in the spring and 3 in the fall, and the rest of it's dry, you know, that type of. And that happens a lot through like the Ozarks and the what am I trying to say? The Appalachians, a lot of them have them in between type of seasons, I guess. You'd call them seasons, in betweens, the tween seasons. So, yeah. So we might have a little bit of an interruption, not a big deal. But anyway, there's been talk that some of the stuff that is being sprayed on us is actually to heal us and our planet. More on that later. I'll have to check into that. I've had my thoughts on that, and I'm not sure. And there was a very weird sundown, sunset time last week. Um, I'm going to say probably last Thursday. The sky looked really, really weird. Um, Undescribably weird, and the colors and even the it wasn't like the northern lights, and it wasn't your typical sundown colors. It was like a base of like silver and then translucent colors of what would be like the aurora borealis, but there was another layer of weirdness of sunlight where I hadn't seen the sun that big for a very long time. And I know there's something else out there too, because I've got a photo of it and we've got videos of it and everything. But there's some strange stuff happening in our world and in our atmosphere that, like a lot of the UFOs and different things that people have filmed that I believe are just like our military craft. I don't think there's anything alien about it. Um, Being that God has his hand in everything and everywhere, I think there's a lot more to it. And I really don't think any of us have even ever been born yet. In all reality, this is like a trial run on your integrity of what actually do you care about and what would you do for God in the future type of thing. And I think everybody's being tested right now. So that's what I think. So I'm going to leave it there. I just thought I'd get on here and chat with you for a while. Thank you for joining me. Have a beautiful night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.